All right, let's talk about some fun stuff. Gold foil pickups, flat wound strings, out of phase sounds, T-Bone Walker, Lonnie Johnson, old school 40s and 50s blues, Charlie Christian. These sounds are incredible. Now, part of the reason for their charm and the way that they sound they do were literally technical limitations at the time. Flat wound strings were what were popular and what were available. And then people didn't know if you had two microphones and a guitar. Now, by microphones, I mean pickups, that they'd be out of phase if you used more than one of them at the same time. And so it was kind of just like inevitable that these out of phase sounds would arise, and people built styles around them, like T-Bone Walker and Lonnie Johnson. But it comes from having both pickups on at the same time, and the sound reaches one at a different time than it reaches the other, and then frequencies kind of cancel each other out, and you end up with that nasally sound, which is basically what's happening here with both pickups on this Ronin, which has a vintage gold foil pickup here and a newer Ronin gold foil here. And I have 14 gauge flat wound strings. And when you put that whole soup together, you end up with a sound like this. Yeah, it's a very unique sound. You would hear T-Bone start off songs like, the way I did in that intro. Right? And when you add the out of phase sound to that kind of phrasing, it kind of, automatically sounds old and amazing, quite frankly. And this is the stuff that B.B. King was listening to when he was kind of formulating his sound and arriving at what he wanted to do. He was emulating guys like T-Bone and Lonnie Johnson, and then mixing in the slide guitar he was hearing from Bukka White, his cousin, and then some of the Django guitar with Django's vibrato. And that's how BB arrived at kind of his vibe, by mixing all those guys up. So he would take the T-Bone, right, and come up with his own thing. And yeah, BB was not a flat wound guy, but he kind of, found his sound out of that style. And man, it's just an amazingly inspiring sound to play with. And it puts your head in a certain space. So like, here's just the neck pickup. So pretty dark, and it's got that sound. Right? So kind of like my song Gloomy. Right? It kind of has that old school jazz sound. Sounds like a big jazz box, even though it is not one. Just has an amazing sound. So here's just the bridge, which I had them wind dark on purpose. Because I wanted to do this sound. I wanted it to have that Charlie Christian, Freddie Green thing. So it has that on the bridge pickup in this guitar. And again, the two pickups together are the out of phase. So the nice thing, if I put a little gain with that out of phase sound, it has this really unique voice. Right, and so that leads us to some of the things about flat wound strings. The limitations are sometimes responsible for great things. I'm playing a completely different way because of the limitations of the flat wounds. Number one, they're very stiff. Number two, you can't bend so much on flat wounds. It doesn't sound right. Right? But if you slide, you get an unbelievable sound. So I'm sliding a lot. T-Bone did a man, and he would double up on timing. And he phrased in that way like a horn player, like he was part of the horn section. And the horns would double up and do these cool like. The mix of all that, the out of phase, the, old school amps. The old school pickups, the flat wound strings, just ended up giving you that incredible sound. I also just hear B flat with any of that stuff, Lonnie Johnson and T-Bone Walker. Lonnie would lay on licks like that repetition also, I started to hear, wow, what a useful tool it could be to give your audience that hook to kind of latch on to. Lonnie was incredible at that, Lonnie Johnson. And then, of course, Charlie Christian came and kind of blew out of the water what a soloist could be on guitar, but he had that same sound. They made a pickup for him. They kind of had that old school, radio broadcast sound, but it's unbelievable, what these tools, how much they can inform your playing. So, man, if you don't have a guitar with out of phase as an option, give it a shot. Maybe get it put in on a switch on your guitar, where when you're on two pickups, you can have the out of phase option, and it'll lead you down some new ways. If you've never tried flat wound strings, throw them on a guitar, and just feel the difference. It makes you play a different way. These tools can, influence and inspire you to find new things. So go listen to T-Bone Walker, Lonnie Johnson, Charlie Christian, put flat wound strings on a guitar, play out of phase, maybe even get some gold foils, something old. It could be a really cheap piece of junk guitar. It'll inspire you to kind of get some new sounds and listen to some new stuff. So check some of that out.